This is the Elektron Octatrack. This is a sampler. This, all around here, is a messy desk. And this is me doing my best Red Means recording impression. I wasn't sure what to do for this first video because the Octatrack is such an expansive beast. So I thought I would start simple. And rather than go through a extensive rehashing of stuff that other tutorials, namely Cuckoos, have already done much better than I could, I'm going to assume that you have a base level knowledge of how Elektron devices work, how step sequencers work, and a little bit about how the Octatrack works, though I will explain what I'm doing as I go. I thought it might be fun to just walk you through step by step the process that I go through when making a track. It's almost always the same because I'm not very creative, but it's consistent and it's consistently fun. And I think that's my favorite thing about this device and what keeps me coming back to it, despite the fact that it is kind of esoteric, it is frustrating, it is cryptic. But I think if you can get past that esoterica and past that cryptic nature of it, you'll see that this device actually has just abundant joy to offer. So today, I think I'm going to sample a favorite track of mine from the artist Tycho. The track's called Elegy. It's on the album Dive, which might be my favorite album of all time. So I went ahead and sampled the piece of the track that I wanted to sample, and here we are in the audio editor. So when you turn on the Octatrack, you're always going to be here where you access all your different tracks with different samples and whatever else on them. And on the Mark II, they made it a lot more convenient to get to the audio editor. That's just a button that says Aid. Aid, here we are. So without fail, my process begins with slicing a sample. 9 times out of 10, I steal someone else's intellectual property and make it my own and profit. Anyway, so in the audio editor, we have a couple different things. We have trim, slice, edit, attributes, and files. What we are worried about now is slice, and that's where we are. If you notice, if I click through here, I already have slices, and that is because I always boot up my Octatrack into a template project, which is basically just a fancy way of saying I made a project and set a bunch of settings a certain way so that I don't have to do a bunch of legwork every time I want to record something or make something. It's similar to having a template in your DAW. You know what a template is. I don't know why I'm explaining it to you. I'm being patronizing. So we're going to go ahead and click yes on slice. And we're going to go down to delete all slices. Sure, dude. And one of the useful things that Elektron has in the audio editor is you can zoom on the waveform. This isn't actually gaining the waveform, it's just making it visually bigger because size does matter and it helps you get a closer look. So here I'm zooming in and I'm moving the level knob here to move up to the waveform. All right, function yes to preview. And it's just pure beauty, man. Now I might have screwed myself here. Fairly consistently, I have trouble sampling things with very recognizable rhythms and strumming patterns. Like sampling ambient stuff is always easiest for me because you can make the rhythm whatever you want it to be. But if you sample something that has, strumming or, God forbid, drums, you have to fight against that rhythm or find out exactly what that rhythm is and work around that. And I don't like working around things. I don't like working at all. I want the music to be easy. I want it to be made for me. I want it to be ready-made. That's why I sample, because it's like, the work's already done, dude. Call it a day. But seriously, we're just going to start slicing. So I think I want to start maybe on that first note. That's tough. Yeah, let's do that. So I'm going to hit yes to add a slice. And now I'm going to start moving the endpoint. Hitting function yes to preview. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so I can scroll faster. So I think I'm going to just keep it there. A little bit back. And then you use your level knob to move to the next slice. Perfect. If you hold function while you turn the level knob, you see this little square appears, and that means you're at a zero. I think it's called a zero crossing. I don't know, man. It's fancy audio talk for saying that the audio don't go clicky-clicky when you press the button. And that's all I care about, really. So speaking of clicky-clickies, we're going to hit yes to add another slice. Hit function yes to preview. So So I think I'm going to stop before that. That's pretty good. Level to move to the next slice. Zoom in a little bit here. All right. Maybe a little bit over. Yeah, that'll do. And now here's a fun game that I like to play. It's called Are My Kids Crying or Are They Playing? You boys okay? They were playing. Now here's an interesting question. Do I want to have that sort of accent note before that kind of chord change? I think I do. And we can always change it if we don't like it. So you know, level knob, next slice, zoom in a little bit. Boom. That's fine. Yes and yes. And you can see it becomes kind of a fast process. Obviously, it's faster when you're not talking through it. I don't remember what I was doing, so we're going to back this up. I think I'm going to go back here. My favorite thing about sampling is that you beat yourself over the head with a specific part of a sample enough that you start to hate it a little bit. And then the song is ruined for you forever. Let's put a slice there just for a little bit of ambience. Real tight. I don't know about you guys, but oh god, I already said you guys. Okay, YouTube career over. What is up, you guys? Coming back with another Octatrack tutorial, and this one, guys, is pretty crazy. It's 3 a.m. I killed my girlfriend, and we're gonna sample the sounds. Check it out, and smash that like button, demoralize the subscribe button, and disrespect your parents. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. I like to pitch down samples. I rarely, if ever, pitch a sample up because I'm not Kanye West, and he's the only one who can or should. So I always pitch things down to be slower and sadder and dadder. Use function level to find that zero crossing. Beautiful. Zoom out a little bit. And then here, find a zero crossing. And the rest is kind of loops. Okay, so now it's sliced. You see my source here is recording 1, which is the recording buffer of track 1, which is what I sampled it into. Each track has its own recording buffer. So if you ever sample, pay attention to what track you're sampling into. You need to be using that recording buffer. And when I hold function and press down, we go to trig mode. We can choose to play slices. Now, if you're not like me, if you're not an Octatrack expert, if you're not a god, you might see this instead and wonder, what the fuck, Elektron? I'm on slices. Why? That sounds, well, kind of okay, but it's not my slices, Elektron. I made them. I made my pizza pie. Give me my pizza pie. Elektron's got you covered. You just got to double tap the source button and there's slice, you dummy. You got to turn it on. Why do you have to do that? I don't know why Elektron does the things they do. I just use their products. So we see our slices here. And it's kind of cool if you go to the audio editor, as you play them, it'll jump between them. So we have our slices. So now what? Well, now we have to make music. And I'm not great at it. I try. So I'm just kind of gonna screw around and see what I can find. It's really that simple. I mean, we could start with pitching it down, maybe 3 semitones. See, and this is what I mean with the strumming. If it was just the guitar, I could maybe fiddle and find a way to make that rhythm work a lot more easily. But because there's that strumming, there's always a weird push and pull. But I've committed, so I'm going to try to make it work. A thing that I like to do that's I call sampling on easy mode is just reverse the sample. So on the Octatrack, of course, there isn't a reverse sample button. That's crazy talk. There's a rate parameter, and if you turn it all the way reverse, guess what happens? Your sample plays in reverse. You're so smart. I'm so proud of you. So if I play it now, see, now we're getting into some ambient territory. That's something. pitch it down a little more. It's too fast. I want to go low and slow. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that unlike its baby brother, the Digitact, the Octatrack does time stretch. Does it time stretch well? Absolutely not. It sounds pretty bad when you do it, is the thing. So it's pitched down 5 semitones. I almost said a fifth, but that's not accurate at all. Come to me for your music theory needs. Well, see, that actually doesn't sound that bad. But sometimes you get into some crazy artifact territory. Anyway, I actually prefer not to time stretch things. Again, that's in the source menu there, because I love that the tempo of something becomes dynamic when you slow it down. I like that slowing it down makes the slices last longer and take, I almost said last longer and take more time to end, which is what last longer means. I'm good at these. So let's see 5 semitones. How does that sound? Let's see. Okay, so this is not great. If I was making a track on my own, I probably wouldn't stick with this. I would, to be totally candid, I would probably decide to sample something else because it's hard and my bones hurt. I don't want to work. But we're here and I've already recorded 20 minutes of footage, so we're not going back. So I think I found something. I don't know exactly what the... I mean, that's going to be... What's that? 85? Okay, so it's closer to 90. So let's see. So it's a little short on that end one there. I could probably hit it twice. 3, 4. Yeah, so let's do that. Like I said, I'm going to assume you understand the basics of Elektron gear. I'll talk through it a little bit, but to record, you hit record and hit play. I have a metronome on, so I'll have a little click, a little pre-roll. That's not bad. Let's listen back. $90 might be a little slow. Let's try 91. Yeah, I think that's right. Now, if you notice, my whole do it twice feels so right. Do it twice, make it nice. Did not quite work out for me. The sample stops right before the track kind of comes back around, or the next half of the pattern starts. And I don't like that. No one likes gaps in their audio. Negative space? No. Fill me up. I got enough voids in my life. So what I like to do is really simple, which is I just copied that trigger, hold the trigger, hit record to copy trig. Now I'm going to place it just on a random trig here on this second page, maybe here. And I would normally reverse it, but I just remembered we've already reversed it. So let's try putting it forward and see what happens. It might not be good. So we're going to hold here to set a trig lock, push it up to the highest normal rate, and let's see what happens. Sure, it's not great. Something else we could do is pitch it up an octave, which might prove more problems than it actually solves, but let's find out. So I'm 5 semitones down, so I need to go 5 up to 0 and then 7 up from there to be an octave higher if my math is correct, and it rarely is. So let's see. I like that. That's decent. Let me see if we put it on 15 instead of 14 here, how that sounds. And I have a reason for why I'm doing this. Yeah, I like that. So let's go back here. I'm going to paste it back on 14. I'm going to come back in here and I'm going to go back to -5 semitones. And then what I'm going to do is use one of those juicy trig conditions. So I want this one to happen every second time, and I want this one to happen every first time. So we get a little variation, because I like that octave sound. I think every time, excuse me while I bump into the mic, I think every time would get a little rough. So let's hear how that sounds. Turn off the click. Yeah. Yes, I'm a dad. Yes, life is bad. Yes, I am sad. Yeah, that's great. I mean, it's not great. It's fine. And fine is what we aim for here. So we're going to stick with that for right now. Now we do other stuff. I typically put in a snare just kind of as an anchor. And I always tell myself that I'll change the pattern. I will make a snare. I'm moving ahead of myself here. I will use a snare that's not on the 9 or the 5 or the 13 like I do on every single track, and I never do. So we're going to stick with that trend probably, because it definitely has a very, you know, classic rock, baby, rock and roll photos. If you get that reference, you're way too online. Okay, so I'm going to double click for absolutely no reason at all. I keep my clap on 3 most of the time, although it changes constantly just depending on what I'm doing. So I'm going to double click, I'm moving too fast here. I'm going to double click, comes into my sample pool. I'm going to click yes to come into all the folders where all my samples are. I'm going to come inside these folders here and back out of some of these folders. Come in and back out. That's my strategy. I come in and I back out. I come in on that job interview. I get the job. I back out. I'm unemployed. I'm on unemployment, making more money than I made when I was working full time. COVID, baby. So we're going to back up a bit. I'm going to come into... God, I just keep doing that, huh? I am going to find my way to Blank Forms' Tape Haze sample pack because it's really good. So he has some cool percussion stuff. Let's listen. Hell yeah. That'll work. It probably doesn't fit the track at all, but that's what we're going to do. So I know intuitively that if I put these snares on the 5 and the 13, it's going to be just super hot fire, because super hot fire is all I know how to make. Let's listen. What? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Got tight go with a bright hoe. She comes from Chicago. Teacher's Pizza. My favorite DBZ character is Frieza. So that's done. I mean, we're done. I'm never coming back to the snare. Nothing more is happening to it. Stop asking. That's the snare. Now we're going to put in a bass drum, a kick drum, if you're nasty. And I use like the same two every single time. I don't know about you guys. Maybe I'm too picky with my kicky, but I hate like 98% of kick drums I just hate. They just sound bad, all of them to me. When I hear a good kick, I want to hold the producer hostage to find out what the sample is and get it, because I have a billion kick samples and I like 3 of them. So let's listen. Sure, let's record. Yeah. Sure. Yeah, and that's not good. But it's there. It's in there. My levels are coming in a little hot. Let's turn this down a little bit, maybe. It doesn't sound loud to me, but my audio file is like, brother, you better not put more stuff on top of that. And we're going to put more stuff on top of that, so it's just going to have to hang. My son is here. Did you color that? Yeah. Oh, shit, Sonny. Let's show the nice people. My younger son colored a jack-o'-lantern. Come say hi right here to the microphone.
Hi.
What's your name?
Lil.
Where do you live?
Here.
Hey, man. That's some good anti-doxing strategy right there. What's your name, big one?
Jude.
Where do you live? Oh, now they're going to know. They're going to come for us. All right. This is beautiful, Luke. Thank you so much for showing me. Will you guys go play so Daddy can keep doing his work? Love you, boys.
Love you too.
Okay. So anyway, this is a Naruto sample that I sampled the first time when I first got this. And it's in there forever. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and kill Naruto here. Spoilers. I actually don't know if Naruto dies. I'm like 200 episodes into Shippuden. And I got to the point where, like, 3/4 of every episode was a flashback. And I was like, I know what happened. I just watched it because I'm a trash person. I just watched it. And you're showing it to me again, and I'm still watching it. Why do I let you do this to me? So music. So now, I don't know, man. Maybe a loop of some kind. Let's see. Been using this Boiler Room sample pack a lot. There's some cool drum stuff in here. So let's go to drum kit. Let's go to hats. You know, that's not a loop, but it'll do for a hat. One of my favorite things to do with hi-hats is not try. And the best way to not try is to do this. And then hold this one. We're going to make a trig condition. We're going to turn this to say, just like do it, let's say 25% of the time. And then we're going to copy this. We're going to paste and paste and paste and paste and paste and paste and paste. And so on and so friggin' forth. And now you get 25% might have been too low, huh? Let's try that again. Yeah, 25% is too low, folks. So we're going to try, let's do 50. Copy it, paste and paste and paste and paste and paste and paste and paste. Are you annoyed? And paste. And paste and paste and paste and paste. And what do kids eat? Paste and paste. Here's something that I think is important when you're doing something like this that I forget sometimes, which is I think it's important that the first one always hits because it starts as like an anchor so that no matter how weird the rest of it is, you always can rely on that first. You know what I'm saying? So let's try holding page and copy to copy this page of notes here. We're going to click over to the next page, hold page, and stop for paste. And we're going to do that for the whole dang thing and hope it sounds like music. Something else, a problem I'm having with this sample, it's a little too long for me. So I think I'm going to go to the amp page here. And I never remember. I think release. Nope. I think it's hold and release. Let's listen. Yeah, it's hold. Now that's a little better. Let me pitch it up. Sure, that's fine. Now I'm gonna put a bass on it because you need that. A problem I have with the Octatrack, at least I think it's the Octatrack. It would be really insane if just coincidentally a bunch of sample packs that I have are all out of tune. But something about the way that it pitches down audio detunes it. And so sometimes you're left in a situation where you spend a bunch of time recording a video and sampling a track and slicing it and finding a pattern for it. And then all of a sudden you come to realize, baby, it's out of tune. And that sucks. And you just kind of have to move on. So something I've started doing recently that I didn't do this time is as soon as I'm done slicing a sample and I've pitched it down and I have a pattern, I immediately try to put down some sort of bass line just to make sure that it works. And if it does, I keep going and rock it and I make absolute art and everyone loves it and my wife's happy and my kids are smart. And if it doesn't, I stare off at the wall for a bit and then I move on and I try something new. So let's go. I have 2 folders of samples because I'm a monster, and I'm going to go to a folder titled aptly synth samples MS10. We're going to go to a triangle because I like that soft stuff. So we're going to do let's try C1. We're going to go to our keyboard mode here. That's juicy, baby. It's really good samples. Again, I think that's samples from Mars. So let's find out if I've made a horrible mistake. don't think I did. Maybe I did. Easy way to check yourself. It's a lot easier to hear if you're out of tune. An octave up. No, I'm good. It's alright. Let's go back down. Okay, so we're just kind of going to ride with it. It'll be a little off. Again, probably I would consider just trying a different sample at this point. But again, this is just my process, so yours may vary. Anyway, so let's go back to track 6 where we keep forgetting that we have our bass. So I think that's what we're going to do. Because we're complicated, so get the click just for the pre-roll. So something that I actually didn't mean to record that an octave up. I like having my bass deep and low. But it actually sounds okay. I think something I might do is pitch this down to -5. My wife's home. Hello, my wife. Let's see how that sounds. Off that click. Ooh. So I think we'll do the same thing for this here. I don't know if that works. Let's try the opposite of this. Let's clear that. We're gonna try down. Do this right. Groovy. So let's try the opposite of what I was doing. Rather than pitch something down every so often, let's pitch it up an octave, you know, like the fancy trap kids do with their bass. I think this one is the one we will pitch up to an octave higher. Let's see how that sounds. Yeah, there you go. So that's the bass. Is it good? No. Is it bad? No. Am I sad about it? A little bit.
Hi. Thanks for watching my husband play with his toys. That sounded weird. Anyways.
Onlyfans.com/synecdochemusic. Watch me play with some real toys.
Oh my God, Daniel.
Anyway, so this is what we have. Turn the bass down a little bit. That's a little high too. Maybe we pan that hi-hat around. We're going to go to the LFO menu, and here we have 3 LFOs per track. We can make our own. I'm not going to, though. Hubris is the death of man, and I think the ones that God gave us are just fine. So we're going to go to amp balance, because again, in Elektron terms, nothing is what it normally is. Filter, you got bass and width, buddy. Figure out what that means. For panning, you got balance. So balance is between the left and right. What is up? You cook eggs in a pan, buddy. This is strange energy. Weird things happen when you turn on a camera. So let's try it way too much, and then we'll pull it back. Else we could try. It's a little bit of delay. little groove, because let me tell you, people that can program with swing, chef's kiss to you. Much love. I can't. I don't have the groove in me. I'm white on all sides. Just can't groove. So a little bit of delay on the hi-hats. You get a juicy groove for free. Yeah, so that's fine. Okay, so we've been working now for a bit. You might be thinking, I'm your biggest fan. I watch all your videos on the app Instagram that I've downloaded on my iPhone or Android device. And you're always moving this little fiddly bit around. What does it do? Why are you doing that? Stop it. Is it all for show? Are you like those DJs that are like doing this when they're just, I mean, what are they doing? They're not doing anything. It's a lie. It's a lie, folks. They're not doing anything until they are, and then it's really cool. God, that's got to be a good job being a DJ, huh? Just play other people's music and vibe. You get paid. You get drunk. I don't want to get drunk, but people like to get drunk, people who aren't me. In any case, the scene slider is the best thing about the Octatrack. Hands down on the table. Best thing about the Octatrack. And it's really simple. It just lets you fade between parameter changes. So because this is, again, we're still in that template project I have, if you hold B, I have a couple scenes set up. And it's really simple. It's just a high pass filter and some reverb on the master. If I hold B, you can see what I've edited here. So the bass, which is the low end frequencies, are cut off pretty harshly. Got Q, which is, you know to be resonance, is up. I don't know why decay is up, because it's not an envelope that's triggering. There's no filter envelope happening here, so that could probably not be there. But it's there, and we're going to love it as it is, because we're not hateful in this house. And then there's a little bit of reverb. I typically roll off some of the high end with a low pass, just because snares don't play super well. In my opinion, I don't like the way that the high end of a snare sounds in a big reverb. I just don't. So I roll it off a lot. And that's it. So you just fade between them. And something that is common for me, I don't know if it's in the template or not. Let's listen. And see, there you go. That's what makes this thing so fucking good. This is not a good track, you guys. There I go again. What's up, you guys? This is not a good track. But just that? Just the... Where's it going? Oh, there it is. You brought it back. Where'd it go? You took it away. You gotta take, and you gotta give. And it just feels magical, and it never fails to put a smile on my stupid face. And honestly, very rarely do I smile when I make music or really groove. But the Octatrack makes me groove. It makes me absolutely white boy lose my mind. As my wife will attest. And if you can find a piece of gear or a style of music or just something in your life that makes you feel that, you got to stick with it, man, because that's a special thing. So we could check out, let's see what the low pass sounds like. I think the last time I checked this project, I realized that the low pass is a little much, and that I should probably roll it back a little bit. Yeah, it works better in this than it has in the last couple tracks, but let's open it up a little bit. That's a little better. So that's all the scene fader does, and it's deceptively simple, because that's just a high pass and some reverb. But any parameter, pretty much, you can change on your scene and fade between it. So like, let's go to an empty scene. So if I slide over here, nothing's going on. If I put a big reverb, and I go 100% reverb. Big boy. Like, that's cool, man. I've never done that before. And I like that. And now I think I might do it in my own tracks. But we could take it further. Maybe we want that to happen. Maybe for effect 1, we want my favorite thing ever, some sample reduction. Let's listen. Let's pull that back. A little bit crushing. Now, see, I made a mistake here. It's really easy to forget that you need to hold down your scene button while you're editing these things, because otherwise it just gets applied to the sound, as you would normally expect. So, easy trick is just hold the button down, fiddle the knobs just a scotch, and you'll get to where you were anyway, and then you just come out of it, go to 0. That's pretty cool. Something else that I think we could do that could be fun with the reverb, is push it up more, and then maybe leave a little bit in the dry. I might need to hold it a little while longer. I want a swelling effect as I pull back. So let's see if we can do that. Okay. Yeah. Let's just try full. So that's pretty neat. But anyway, I mean, you could do whatever. Let's go to this. Let's go to the sample. And now I want the sample to slow down to 0. I don't know. Why not? And like, that's fun. And that's the thing that keeps me coming back to the Octatrack. If it did not have the scene fader, I would just have it dig attacked. And that's the God's honest truth. The Octatrack can do some really cool things. It can loop. It can, you know, act as like a mixer for stuff in the way that the dig attacked can't. It is more flexible in a lot of ways. It can time stretch, etc., etc. I really don't give a fuck about any of that. It's this. Hardware creators, synth builders, sample mans, people what build things. Put crossfader on stuff. Let people fade between stuff. And I mean, like, a common trick that I do, not everything sounds great in a high-pass filter with reverb, right? That kick kind of sounds like ass. So you hold your scene button, I'll go to where my kick actually is, and you turn it down, then that kick comes back and you get a little extra something. Come back over here. And that's what I'm talking about. That's 99% of my process, is just fiddling around with scene changes and what else you can do with them. A common thing I've been doing recently, and it shows up in almost all my videos, is bit crushing and sample reducing the shit out of my melodic sample. And one of the things that they have on here, I think it's, I don't know, AMD, AMF, who knows what it stands for? I think it's Amplitude Modulation or some such. But you can hear the, ooh. Here, let's mute everything really quick and you can hear what I'm talking about. You turn up that. Ooh. Put a little. So that's fun. That's something I've been doing a lot of. Let's pull that down. And honestly, that's kind of it. I don't really have any crazy big secrets. I don't think I have something that I could make a full length, video about, like, all right, guys, this is the thing that's going to make your Octatrack sing. It's just a lot of little tricks that I've picked up over the year or so that I've been using this thing consistently. And you stack enough of those little tricks, all of a sudden you look like a master to people, or you look like, I don't know, that's kind of self-aggrandizing. You look like you really know your way around a device. And I do really know my way around this thing after a year of using it. And more than anything, it makes me want people to be more brave about exploring it, because it's a really, really, really rewarding instrument. And it is an instrument. There's a lot of bullshit, I think, surrounding it that makes it out to be more ridiculous than it is in terms of how difficult it is to use or how difficult it is to learn. I don't think the learning curve is that high. I think if you're familiar with any Elektron gear at all, you could pick this up, and it's not that bad. The most annoying thing about the Octatrack is the way that saving samples works. So right now, my sample, the slices, everything about it, aside from like the machine qualities, like the pitch and the rate and stuff, the sample itself and the slices are stored in a recording buffer. And if I turn off the Octatrack, if I accidentally smack that power button, if I'm up here and I'm grooving and I flick the power switch, it's over, baby. That sample, gone. So it's really important to remember to come into your audio editor, go over to File, go down to Save and Assign Sample. We'll rename it Dudes Rock, because they do, and not enough people know it. We don't get enough credit for rocking. And then hit save, and we assign it to a free flex, which is the machine we're using. Basically, there's different types of machines you can use to process samples. Flex is the one you use for one-shots. It's the one you use 99% of the time if you're just trying to use it like a normal one-shot sampler. And so it's assigned to Flex 5. Double-click over here, leave our recording buffer. Hold on, I screwed something up. Double-click, come down, click on Dudes Rock, and then it's there. So now when you open up your project, it'll be there and it'll be fine. It's the most important thing. You have to save your sample if you've sampled into it. Otherwise, it will be gone. My buddy Andrew and I did a sick remix, just a fucking filthy remix of Tiny Tim's song. You know the one. It was great. It was killer. It was gonna top the charts. And I didn't save the sample, and I turned off my Octatrack, and I turned it back on, and it was gone. And I remember saying, word for word, verbatim, fuck it with a fucking fuck. I think my son is crying. Do you want to say goodbye to the people?
Goodbye.
Say, press subscribe.
Press subscribe.
Like the video.
Like the video.
Show it to your mommy.
Show it to the mommy.
And eat your vegetables.
And eat your vegetables.
All right. I'll record an outro later. Whatever.